Well, he said, your grandfather was a member of the main Rotary Club in Little Rock. And back then, each of you has a classification, but back then, classification was a big deal. They did not have multiple people in one classification. There was one. And he was in the real estate business, and he was the one man in the real estate business in that big club. And he was not going to lose it. So whenever they go on a trip, my dad and his brothers and my grandmother had to sit in the car while he went to Rotary. And so my dad didn't much care for Rotary. But I knew about the classification. The thing about Rotary that I've learned over the years is that Rotary's like a three-legged stool. Attendance, food, and programs. You got those three things covered and you got a successful Rotary Club. You know, we harp on attendance, but the truth of the matter is that if you're not there, something's missing from our club. You know, you were, and you know, we talk about membership and this, that, and the other, but it takes a special person to be a member of a Rotary Club. And, you know, if I go to a meeting and Dick's not there, or Jim's not there, or Richard's not there, there's something missing, you know? And so you have a place, and it's not just what you're doing for yourself. It's the fact that there are other people that are relying on you being there because you add something to this mix. So, you know, pay attention to your attendance, not because, you know, you're going to get kicked out of the club, but because your presence is important to the other members of the club who are there. If they weren't, we'd kick you out. The programs, we have good programs. And you will find over the years that there's not a whole lot that goes on in Fort Smith that you don't know about. There's not too many issues that come about that you don't know about. And if you want to know about them, there'll be somebody in the club who can tell you. Food goes up and down, but if you'll notice, if the food starts getting bad, people stop showing up, and that's just, you know, one of the parts of it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about where you fit in as far as the hierarchy of a Rotary Club is concerned. Because a Rotary Club is different from any other animal that you've ever tried to lead in your life. Everybody in the club is a leader, and they don't put up with BS, and they don't support things that they don't want to. In a way, it's kind of like herding cats. and that's why, you know, I was talking about the importance of the Rotary Board. They'll approve anything. I mean, you know, you bring it up, they'll approve it, you know. But if you say, okay, don't approve it unless you're willing to work on it and support it and put your money in it, all of a sudden it's like, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna build that gazebo. So the president acts like a facilitator, and in a small club like ours, it's very easy to dump everything on the president, to where the president at the end of their term is just totally exhausted and worn out. And that's a two-way street. But one of the things is having the board of directors behind you. And so if you're ever asked to be on the board of directors, that's a really important function. Now, in the board of directors, there are 4 avenues of service, and there will be 4 of the directors that will be responsible for one avenue of service. And then they will have a committee under them, and you're going to be on one of those committees. And that's where you're going to start, and that's the beginning place of your adventure through Rotary. And then as you work on these committees, all of a sudden you start paying attention to things. If you're on international service, you start paying attention to what's going on. If you're in club service, you're thinking, you know, how can I do a little bit more here? And it makes you more aware, and you start to get involved in one area of Rotary, and then it becomes another and another and another. So your place in Rotary is to attend, to be involved in the committee work. And if you do that, and we have the kind of leadership that we've had, we're going to have a successful club. That's it.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob.
Can I say something about that water